So what will you learn? Oh, child development teaches you lots of different things. It will teach you all you need to know about children aged 0 to 5. But it doesn't start just with the children. We start before that. We start looking at the preconception health. Why ladies need to be healthy before even starting to think about having a baby. What factors they need to consider. We look at contraception. We look at health and well-being before conception. So how healthy you have to be, what you need to do before you conceive. We look at pregnancy and the different stages of pregnancy, which is really interesting. And we look at the role of the different healthcare professionals in the birth process. So this part of the course, the first part of the course, looks at who is involved in the pregnancy stage of child development and what they do and what their roles are. We also look at how children develop. So after the lady's given birth, we look at the developmental stages of that baby right the way from 0 to 5. As we go through the course and we look at older children, we then look at how to keep children safe, what health and safety is, what can be found in the home and the garden that are possible risks to children and how we can avoid that. We then go on to look at developmental norms, what they are, how children develop normally and what is expected at certain ages of children. And then the interesting bit of the coursework, we learn how children learn through play. And we do this by inventing games and toys for children to play with, and we do practical activities to see how children learn through playing with the toys that we've created. It's really varied. The content is interesting and extremely informative. Even I know things now that I didn't know before. There is a lot of work involved in it. There is a lot of written work when you come to do the coursework, but there's also lots of other things that we do instead of it's not just written work. There are practical activities. We do bring people in to speak to you, and you'll find out a little bit more about that as we go through the presentation. So how will you be assessed? Well, there are 3 units of study. The first unit is RO18, and this is an end of course examination in Year 11. This is 50% of the overall qualification, and this unit covers all course content. So everything that you learn in RO18, right from learning about pre-pregnancy all the way through to health and safety and safety labelling. All of that will be covered in the course content. There are lots and lots of areas that are covered, too many to mention. Some of them I've mentioned already, but this unit covers all of those things. It talks about health, it talks about nutrition, it talks about the tests that babies need when they're first born, it talks about what reflexes are, childhood illnesses, and everything really that you've ever wanted to know about how to care for a child 0 to 5. Unit 2 is your first coursework piece. Now this one's interesting because each piece of coursework has a scenario attached to it. The scenario for RO19 is you are giving advice to people who are nursery workers. This nursery is attached to a supermarket. The mums at the supermarket take their babies to the nursery, and you are asked several things in relation to that nursery and how this nursery can provide care for the children of the workers at the supermarket. The first part of it looks at the equipment that nurseries may need to provide and why they need to provide that equipment. So we look at prams and pushchairs, and we look at the different factors relating to them, and we look at the different clothing and how the nursery can meet the needs of the children in their care by providing this equipment. It then moves on to health and nutrition. We look at the different nutritional values of food groups. So we look at macro and micronutrients. It has a lot of cross-curricular with things like science, food and technology, and you'll find that there is a lot of curriculum cross-curricular activities too. So here you have to plan a menu for a child, and that includes preparing the food. The third unit, RO20, focuses on the development of children. We look at what developmental norms are and what babies should be doing by certain ages. For example, when a baby should, if they're reaching their developmental norm targets, learn to walk or be walking and crawling and cut teeth, all of those kind of things. And we do that all the way through to children aged 5. We then look at how children learn through play, and this is when the second practical task comes in. We will be working with children and you will be developing games and toys for them to play with, so you can judge just how well your toys help that child learn and develop through playing with them, with the toys that you've created. It's really interesting. As I say, it is a lot of work, there is a lot of research, but it also is really interesting. So moving on from there, we're going to look at how the grades are equivalent to the current GCSEs. So what do they mean? Okay, as you can see here, this basically sets out the qualification level. So we do it at level 1 and level 2, and this is the way that they convert. So the first 3 grades are a level 1 pass. If you achieve a level 1 pass, you can then go on to do level 2 in college. You must achieve a level 2 if you want to go on to do the higher level in college, the level 3, which is equivalent to A levels. So I've labelled this, and as you can see, the flight paths and their equivalencies are clearly set out there. And that's the way they convert. So the points that you would get for GCSEs, you get the same points for this qualification. It's just graded in a slightly different way. The coursework is all internally marked by your teacher and then moderated by the exam board. The exam is externally marked by the exam board, and you'll get that result on results day, the same as all of the other qualifications. So how's it delivered? Well, the course content is delivered through lessons, and to make it as interactive as possible, we try to invite guests in to come and talk to you about certain areas. So for example, we couldn't invite anybody in over the last year because of the pandemic, but the year before that we had a new mum who came in to talk about the birth process. She also explained the different types of feeding solutions that new mums have, talked about antenatal classes and what happens in antenatal classes. We also had people bring their children in to play in the classroom. We also did food sampling, which was interesting. We had a healthcare worker come into the lessons to tell the girls what it was like to be a healthcare worker in a hospital. And my plan for the next year, once things open up again and we can bring people back into school, is to bring my niece in, who is a midwife, to tell you what it's like to deliver babies and what the course is like to train to be a midwife. A nursery worker to come and tell you what it's like to work with young children. And also other people that have just had babies, be their first baby or their fourth baby, just to give you an idea of what that birth process is like, so that you can ask questions about what it's like to have children and how difficult that might be, so that you have a full understanding of all of the different roles that people, professionals play when it comes to firstly having a baby and then maintaining the health and well-being of a child from 0 to 5 years. Many people might ask, well, what can I actually do with this? Well, there's lots you can do with it. Child development doesn't just lead to a childcare career route. It can also lead to other healthcare courses at college. For example, at the Osborne sixth form, we have health and social care, BTEC, if you did child development, or health and social care, but child development can lead you onto that course too. Child development also has a level 3 course at Thurrock College, which is the next course up. It does level 2 as well, so if you did fall into level 1, you could go and do level 2 and then level 3. You can also do GCSE health and social care after you've done this course too. The difference between this course and health and social care is this course focuses specifically on children, on early years. So if you wanted to work in the early years sector, or you wanted to work with children in a hospital setting, this course can lead, after you've done your level 3, to nursing, midwifery, primary healthcare opportunities at university, and a wide range of healthcare employment opportunities. So some of the future employment opportunities that doing this course can lead you to are nursery worker, nursery nurse, health visitor, midwife, social worker, early years teacher, if you want to go down the teaching route, a play therapist, healthcare worker, child psychologist, and there's many more roles that you can do depending on what other courses are taken with your child development. So for example, if you took psychology, you could go on to be an educational psychologist because you've done the work and know about children, and you have the psychology of it as well. So depending what you do with the child development, you've got lots and lots of career routes open to you. So why should you choose child development? Well, it's for you if you enjoy interacting with young children, if that's something that really interests you and you see yourself having a future career path that leads you to working with children aged 0 to 5, like a nursery nurse worker, then definitely this is for you. It is an interesting topic that will give you lots of real life information on topics that you wouldn't normally discuss, like having a baby. If you like a mixture of examination and coursework tasks, this is definitely for you. Because it's not all exam, you don't have to remember everything. You know that 50% of your mark is going to be made up from the coursework tasks that you do in lessons. It gives you great opportunities to find out about different healthcare roles straight from the healthcare professionals themselves. And it has a variety of learning styles to help us succeed. No matter how you learn best, this includes things like research, practical activities, peer learning, group working, field work, visual learning, as well as those classroom-based written tasks. And my biggest advice to you here would be to pick this because you will enjoy it, because you'll find it fun, and because it's something that interests you. You will succeed if you enjoy your learning. And that is my biggest advice to you. Pick it because you're interested and want to do it. So I hope you found the presentation informative and it's given you a little bit more of an idea of what child development is all about. My final word to you is thank you. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to come and find me and ask me. You can email me or you can message me on Teams. My email address is there if you need it. And enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the other presentations, and I do hope that you pick child development. Good night.